My presentation leverages material created by John Cook, founder of Skeptical Science and cognitive scientist working at the University of Melbourne. Let me start with a short detour to look at how people think about climate change. The answer is not very well. Over millions of years, the human brain has evolved to avoid life-threatening dangers like predators jumping out of bushes. We survived by quickly detecting and avoiding immediate dangers. In contrast, global warming is a slow-motion disaster happening on a global scale. Our brains aren't built to respond to planetary crises stretched out over decades and far removed in time and space for many of us. This provides fertile ground for a massive wave of mis- and disinformation about climate change. Vested interests, political polarization, the global nature of climate change, as well as misinformation, add up to a perfect psychological storm, preventing people from accepting the reality of climate change. Studies have identified a big problem, namely that misinformation can cancel out facts when people are exposed to both and cannot easily reconcile this contradicting information. This can lead to them disengaging and believing neither. The good news, however, is that the antidote to fake news is a little bit of fake news. This is comparable to getting a flu shot with an inactive strain of a virus. Recognizing this problem provides the answer of how to respond to misinformation. We need to help people discern the difference between fact and fiction when faced with conflicting information. We can do this by explaining the techniques used to distort the facts. This is like exposing the sleight of hand behind a magician's trick. Once people see the technique behind a misleading argument, the misinformation loses its influence. This is called inoculation theory. You warn people of the threat of the misinformation, and you also give them counter-arguments and explanations of why the misinformation is wrong. Science denial has 5 telltale techniques. They can be summarized with the acronym FLICK. Fake experts are people who convey the appearance of expertise without possessing any actual relevant expertise. They can make an appearance individually when mentioned in articles or as talk show guests with impressive-sounding titles. Logical fallacies are false arguments leading to an invalid conclusion. There are a number of different fallacies. Strawman and red herrings shown here are just 2 of those commonly found in denier arguments. Some are obvious and easy to spot, while others need a bit more unpacking. The argument that the reason why climate is changing now is because climate has always changed throughout the Earth's history commits the single cause fallacy. This is assuming that whatever caused something in the past must also be the cause now. Impossible expectations demand unrealistic standards of proof before acting on the science. The problem with this, and why this is so challenging, is because science by nature is not definitive. It doesn't give exact values. It gives estimated ranges of values. This confusion about science is exploited by climate science deniers. Cherry-picking involves focusing on select pieces of data while ignoring anything conflicting with the desired conclusion. It's like being in the bow of a ship that's sinking and arguing, well, I'm moving upwards, so there's no problem. The escalator is an illustration for the cherry-picking involved with the claim that it hasn't warmed for X number of years. Temperatures go up and down from year to year, mostly due to ocean cycles. That means that even during a period of long-term warming, you can cherry-pick short periods when it looks like the global temperature is not rising. Conspiracy theories are created when science deniers accuse the world's scientists of a massive global conspiracy. We tend to think of conspiracy theories as kind of amusing and at least a little bit ridiculous. But they are actually really damaging conspiracy theories, and January 6, 2021 has really underscored just how extreme, marginal conspiracy theories can burst into the mainstream and then have devastating impacts on society. In addition, conspiracy theories erode public trust in scientific and governmental institutions, and that is dangerous on many levels. These 5 main techniques are, however, just the tip of the proverbial iceberg, as many fallacies can be broken down further, and the current taxonomy includes 36 of them all told. This is a big challenge for inoculation, especially if you want people to recognize the techniques quickly when confronted with them in the wild. This is where the cranky uncle game can help. John Cook has been developing the cranky uncle game to build public resilience against misinformation. The way the game works is that a cranky uncle mentors you to become a science-denying cranky uncle by explaining all the different techniques that he uses to reject science. After the explanations, you practice spotting these techniques with the help of quizzes. As you move along, you build up cranky points. The more cranky points you get, the more you are able to level up and see your mood get ever crankier. Once you've mastered the initial 5 flick techniques, more denial techniques will get unlocked, and for each of the techniques, definitions are available right at your fingertips. The game is available for iOS, Android and browsers and can currently be played in 8 languages with more in the works. Credit where credit is due, and that is to John Cook. Thanks for having me.